Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you're buying your fifth property, you need to make sure you always ask these three important questions before purchasing anything. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to speak about the things that you need to look out for when buying a home so that you can make a good informed decision. And then I'm going to share with you the three most important questions to ask before buying any property, whether it is your primary residence or an investment property. So here's some things that I've learned are really useful when you go to see a house and do the visual inspection. These are things that you should look out for. Number one, make sure that all the water is running and working properly. Open up all the faucets and sinks, check the water pressure, check to see if it smells weird or if it looks dirty, or that these things are just working properly. You also want to look underneath the sinks, especially because there's usually a lot of corrosion at those pipes, and that's where a lot of leaks start. And you can really see if you're gonna have to replace some of those pipes immediately just by checking underneath the sink. The second and most important thing is to check the electricity in the house. Make sure it works and see if there's any flickering lights or certain switches that don't work or that are loose or outlets that are not covered properly. These are things that you should be checking for to make sure not only that it's safe, but second, that you're not going to have to do a bunch of electrical work. You can also check the circuit breaker panel to see, first of all, are there circuit breakers or are there fuses? If there's fuses, it's an older house and it most likely needs to be converted to a modern circuit breaker. So that's something you need to consider as well. Number three, make sure that if there's a basement in the house that you're checking it thoroughly, because the basement is usually the best indicator of the overall health of the house. The foundation, the infestations, the mold or flooding will be a sign in the basement. You'll be able to see those things, and that is where you want to be. Even though it's not the most appealing, they're usually old, cold, and damp. Make sure you get in there so that you know what you're signing up for. Number four thing you want to look out for is check to see if it's on a busy street, right? Where is the property located? Because the location is the one thing you can't change about the property. So how is that street? Is there a sidewalk? If you're going to have kids or you do have kids, is it going to be a safe place for them to play in the front yard? Do they have enough room? Are they safe at night? This is another thing you may want to consider, is go drive by that street or that house at night to see what is it like. Is it dark? Is it well illuminated? And then also make sure that you take a look at the houses in the area around your house. Are they being taken care of? Are they falling apart? Who are those people living there? Sometimes you can't know for sure, but you can do a little research. And if you're around that area once in a while, you can take a look to see who's outside, are there kids playing, is it busy or not, and is it safe? These are things you need to look out for. All right, so those are some quick things to make sure you're looking out for when you're buying a property. But now let's get into the three most important questions to ask either the seller or your agent as the buyer to determine, is this going to be a good property to buy? Am I making a good decision? And it's going to help you steer yourself in the right direction. First question to ask, is the property vacant or occupied? This is important because if it's vacant, how long has it been vacant? Because a lot of vacant properties have deferred maintenance, and when a property is left alone, it tends to just fall apart and systems fail and things start to break. So make sure that you're getting into a home that's being taken care of. If it is occupied, has the owner lived there a long time, or have they changed ownership like year after year? This home keeps being sold and bought and sold and bought. That's usually not a good sign. If there's somebody that's lived there for 17 years, then they probably have taken care of the property over those years. There's always been somebody there, and so that is a better sign. But this is going to indicate whether major systems such as water heaters, furnaces, and things like this need to be replaced. Especially make sure you understand how old the roof is, because if that roof needs to be replaced, that's going to be a huge amount of money for you to budget when you go and you buy that house. So ask, is it occupied or vacant? Second question to ask is, why is the owner selling the property? Find out the reason, find out the motivation behind the sale. Sometimes people just want to sell because they've been there too long, they want a new location. There's nothing really driving them outside of, we want something new and we want to get the highest price we can get. Those are not motivated sellers, and you're usually not going to be able to negotiate a good price for that property. But if you find a seller who needs to move ASAP, whether that be for a new job relocation, a divorce, a death, any of these things cause urgency in the seller's life, and this will dictate whether or not you can get a better price and whether or not you can close quicker on the property. So ask these things so you can find out what's driving the seller, what's most important to the seller. Do they want to close quick? Do they need more time? Do they want certain terms? And then find out these things so you can structure the offer exactly the way the seller wants it. The third and last most important question to ask is the house located in a flood zone? These flood zones are more prone to flooding. Not only is it more of a risk to you as the buyer, but it's more of a risk to the insurance company. So they're going to increase your insurance premiums significantly because it's located in a flood zone. So that's going to cost you more money, and you need to understand how bad the flooding could get, or if it's happened in the past that's caused damage already to the house, such as the foundation. Are there cracks in the foundation? When you go into the basement, are there sump pumps? Does it look damp? Try to go see the house after a big rainfall so you can get an idea of where the water flows. This is going to give you a good indication of whether it's going to be worth your time or not. If it's in a flood zone and it already has a history of flooding and it's got damage to the property and you know the insurance premiums are going to be high, it may not be worth your time. Just let it go and move on. All these things really just come down to being vigilant and being aware. You have to make sure you're observing the little details, because those things are not little. They turn into big things in the future. So when you go to see a property and whether or not you like it, make sure that you're looking at more than just, wow, the paint looks beautiful. I love the size of the bedrooms. And wow, this is a beautiful kitchen. These are things you're going to notice and you're going to love about the house. But make sure you're looking at the small things. Walk around the perimeter of the property. Look at the gutter system. Look at the roof. Look in the basement. All those areas that you don't really pay attention to, that's the areas that you need to look at. And then you're not wasting your time, because a lot of times you go to the house, it's beautiful. Oh yeah, let's submit an offer. You put in an offer, it gets accepted. Now you're under contract. You have a professional inspector come in and they tell you, hey, you have A, B, and C wrong with the property. These are big issues. If you would have had noticed these things in the visual inspection before putting an offer in, you would have saved yourself time and money, both for you, the buyer, and the seller. Thanks for watching today's video. Have a great day. Subscribe to the channel. Remember, keep going, keep learning, and keep grinding.